Morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I'm talking to you about Little Scarlet by Walter Mosley. It's a novel, and I just finished reading it yesterday, and I started yesterday. So this is a hardback edition. So this is Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. I'm doing a quick review of Little Scarlet by Walter Mosley. Thanks for joining. Let's proceed. So it's light, quick reading. It's part of the Easy Rawlings series. It might be book number 9 or 10 in the series. In my book club, we're roughly working through the series. So I am a lover of Walter Mosley. I am a lover of Easy Rawlings, and I really loved and enjoyed this book. Probably because I have book club today at 6, so it was, oh, it's cold. Hold on a second. Probably because I had to get it done because I had book club today at 6, and so I just read it. I started it yesterday afternoon and finished it by yesterday evening. I probably enjoyed it more because I could stay more focused on what was going on, because I stopped and cooked and I was doing other stuff, but it wasn't like I was like, it ain't really nothing to watch. I wasn't really distracted by any other story, so I just loved it. And Easy Rawlings, I'm really enjoying through the series and through reading the series in this way, just seeing him grow up and evolve as a human being and as a man and as a black person and just as a person. And he's like that bad boy that's a good boy that, we love to love, or I love to love. I love me some Easy Rawlings. There was a serial killer element, and I don't know why, when you figure somebody is like a detective solving murders and murder mysteries, that we hadn't encountered a serial killer before. I didn't miss it before, but right before I realized that's what this was about to be, I'm like, serial killer, why didn't we think of that before? So it was right on time, the perfect thing. It perfectly, made sense. It was Easy Rawlings' distress over the idea that black women were being killed by a serial killer was kind of helped me to appreciate Easy Rawlings even more. That it was not something that he took lightly, and that it made him feel concerned for, all of the different black women that he encounters, as he moves through his life. So, it was kind of like a Black Lives Matter type thing, but like a Black Women's Lives Matter type thing. And so that kind of, I enjoyed that aspect of it. Not that he was in distress, but that his care and his concern and his love of, black women. And this is not right. We can't have, just that idea. I really enjoyed that, or appreciated that. Maybe enjoyed isn't the right word, but I really appreciated it. When I first started reading the book, I was a little disoriented. I did a play a few years ago called Twilight Los Angeles 1992, 1995, I don't know. But anyway, in the 90s, there was riots, rebellions in California. So I started reading this book and I'm like, wow, we got to 95 already? I was just so disoriented, and I was so confused that it was so late that we had traveled through so much time. I'm like, were we in the 80s and the late 80s in the last book? And I didn't I don't understand what's going on. And before this book, I read a collection of short stories that's also part of this series. So I'm like, how did this happen? And then all of a sudden he mentioned, or I saw the mention of Vietnam. And I'm like, oh, this is back in the 60s. More than 30 years before what happened in the 90s. But so much of the conversation, so much of it, I think this idea of things being cyclical and things not changing, I really kind of had that feeling I just really had that feeling of riots, rebellions. I guess every 30 years we're going to have riots and rebellions, and then it's going to be same stuff, different days. Stuff's not going to change. It's going to be the same old situation. And you can just interchange one rebellion for another rebellion in terms of how people are feeling and why people are feeling the way they're feeling and what happens and how people respond. So that was kind of amazing to me, or I don't know if amazing is really the word, but just kind of even though I know it, I just kind of felt like, wow, this could be the same story told basically today, except for it was, well, not today, because it's been more than 30. It's been years since 95, but 95 is like in my lifetime, in the 60s are just before my lifetime, but it's like you could tell the same story now. So how is the world going to change? How are we going to get to another place? How are we going to do better? How, but anyway, so that was this, that was a part of the book that kind of surprised me. The other thing is I really enjoyed, as I mentioned, seeing Easy maturing. I liked, I've been conflicted about Easy and his sexuality and his ways with women and how he processes women and how he treats women and how he be out here womanizing and so it's just really interesting to see him in a relationship and honoring that relationship and still dealing with the fact that he has desires. He sees other women. He's attracted to other women. He considers dealing with other women. He gets in situations that are basically compromising, almost just on the borderline of compromising. He could go either way. I don't know what he gonna do, but I was hoping for him and he made the right choice. But just kind of experiencing some of his internal process of how he's making decisions and how he's making choices. And also him realizing, even though I'm reading him and he like, I'm 45, he middle age, he old, he can't be doing stuff that he used to do. And that's what I'm thinking on one hand, but I'm like, brother, we only 45. Like, so that's kind of, but I definitely enjoyed that. And the authors, I felt like, I don't know what it's like to be a man, but I think that we all, know what it's like to make decisions and to be tempted. And, sometimes you make the right decisions and sometimes you don't, but that doesn't mean you're not tempted. So I really enjoyed that exploration of how Easy was processing, the situations that came his way in terms of, opportunities to have sex outside of the confines of his relationship. With Sister Girl, the stewardess from the Caribbean, French-speaking Caribbean. So, I enjoyed that. The same theme, and, his sexuality has been a theme throughout the series. Another theme throughout the series has been the abuse by cops of him and other Black folks. So that was definitely a theme that we saw, in this book and explored in this book. And, the conversation continues in this book as Easy's perspective on it, matures and continues. And then also the theme of past Black folks passing. We've seen it. I don't think that we see it in every single book in the series, but it's definitely been a theme in a conversation. So that theme is in this book as well. And then I love to see Jackson Blue, a character, and JJ. They happen to be growing and developing together when we meet them in Little Scarlet. But I love to see, how JJ has evolved over the years from this young woman to, this older woman from, how she's developing as a professional, how she's developing as a woman. And then the same thing with Jackson Blue. I like to see him, going from, being smart and being very capable and, not having certain opportunities, creating opportunities to go mainstream. The whole computer thing, I really enjoyed that aspect of, just kind of seeing Jackson Blue's growth and development. So, our boy was in the book this time again. What's his name? The best friend. I don't know why I can't think of the child's name. Mouse. Mouse was in the book. There were a couple of passages that I read out loud. There's something that's so, I don't know if it's lyrical, but there's something about, it's like sometimes I encounter writers where it's like, I feel like it deserves to be read out loud. Like, or, it's like when you reading it is one thing, but hearing it is another. It's just so rich. And Walter Mosley is definitely one of those writers. I think J. California Cooper is one of those writers for me as well. Every book isn't like that, but definitely there were a couple of times when I stopped and I went back and I read it out loud and I enjoyed it. So That's my review. Not exactly a recap of Little Scarlet, but you know how Walter Mosley books go. Well, Easy Rawlings books go. There's gonna be some murderation. He gonna solve the murderation. So that happened in this book, and also we gonna see more of Easy Rawlings, his personal life, how it's evolved, and there are some characters and people that we've been knowing since Easy Rawlings was 17. So we get to see what's happening in their life and what's going on with them. Not all of them, but you know, we've definitely cycled back around to some of the people that we've met before in this, you know, in this book we've cycled back around. In every book we cycle in, you know, I think we see Mouse in every book, but some people we don't see in every book. But so that's the recipe, that's the review, that's the recap. I mean, you know, we caught up with Easy and some of his friends while he solved a murder. And we enjoyed every moment of it. So I would recommend this book. I don't know, because I read the Easy Rawlings series literally as a series from the beginning, book after book after book after book. So I don't know what it would be like to just jump in. I think my first book was the first book in the series. I don't know what it would be like to just jump in and read one of the books from the series. But I do think that because it's such a big world he lives in, when certain people come up like Jackson Blue or JJ, I think that the author does a good job of looping us back around and reintroducing us to the character. Because even though I've read the whole series, sometimes I'm like, who is that again? What's their story? What's their background? So I think you could probably pick up any book in the series and enjoy it. And I'm definitely enjoying it as a series. And I've read other books of his. I've told y'all outside of the series, I am just... I don't know Walter Mosley as a person. I just know him from his work. But I just am so in love. I love me some Walter Mosley. I love his work. I enjoy his work. I really respect him as an artist, and as just what he does is just really amazing and awe-inspiring to me. I really enjoy the people, I feel like he does a really good job of capturing people and capturing Black people. And it's like, I just love so many of the people in his books, and none of the people are perfect. None of the people are perfect, but we love them all. They're like family and friends and community. That's what I love about Walter. That's one of the things I love about Walter Mosley's books. But read the book. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. We're working on 200 subscribers. It's been a long time since I came to you with a book review. And I've been kind of like a little behind with my, this year I haven't been done. 2017 wasn't a good year for books. But I am going to be reading... Dang, what's the name of the book that we're reading next for book club? Because I wanted to tell you in case you wanted to read it. Let me see. Hold on one second. I'm going to check my text message. So the next book that I believe we're going to be reading for book club, and even if we don't read it for book club, I'm going to read it because the library where I got this book from, this is their book club selection for January 20th. It's called Homegoing. It's a novel by a woman named Yaa Gyasi. And it follows, I think, 7 generations. It's only 300 pages, but it follows 7 generations of folks, starting with 2 sisters. Well, I think the book, from what I hear, it opens with a woman setting her enslaver's place on fire. She's in Africa, and she set the place on fire. She takes one of her daughters with her, and then one of her daughters is in the house. One of her daughters is in the house and is mixed. She's mixed with European because her enslaver had a child with the enslaver against her will. And then the other daughter, so it basically follows the daughters of this woman who start the fire at the beginning through 7 generations in Africa and in the Americas. Doesn't that sound exciting? So anyway, that's the next book that, that's the next book. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. That's what we're doing next for book club. Or that's what I'm reading next. I already got my copy. I'm trying to get the book club to read it. But even if they don't read it, I'm going to read it. And I'm probably going to review it because I'm probably going to read it in one quick setting. Because during the holidays, I notice I have a lot more time for reading. Again, it's Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Have you read Walter Mosley? What do you love about him? When are you going to start reading them? What book are you recommending? I've read I love Walter Mosley. I can't say I've read all his books because he write about a book or two a year. I can't keep up. And I just discovered him like about 5 years ago, so I'm so far behind. Okay, so anyway, be you, be fabulous, you. Be you, be fabulous, be